but we're not understanding what's your lane, what's my lane, what's the school's lane. And what we need to do, and Julian's right, commissioners, we probably need to have a monthly, quarterly get-together to kind of assess where are we, where we're going, and what's our targets, right? So what I propose is, and I'll start it, Pat, and maybe I will with you, is we're going to put this big old document together. It's a bit long one, and it's going to have the entire continuum of the community, from K, from little kids to elementary kids to middle school to high school to adult learning, and even further than that to skill up, right? We call it skill. Those people that are already working and what are doing to scale them up, right? We're going to draft that whole continuum, and we're going to put layers under it. What's happening with the students? What are the nonprofits doing? What are the ISDs doing? What are the community colleges doing? What are the associations doing? And what are the electeds doing? What is the legislative agenda behind our strategy? And lay it all out. And when we meet, we're going to then put on there, this is what I'm doing here. This is what these people are doing here. And then we're going to start identifying, hey man, you're going the wrong way. You got to get in alignment back with our strategy here, right? And we're going to call this something. The Brownsville Education Workforce Development Strategy that we're going to share to the Valley later. I don't know what we're going to call it. We're going to call it something cool like that. But this is the key, is we need to understand what each and any one of us are doing. What is your strategy? What is the funding behind it? And also, what is the legislative agenda behind it? There's a lot of things that are happening at the state level that probably 90% of us here are not aware of. You know, for example, raise your hand if you know what Senate Bill 22 is, right? Raise your hand if you know what House Bill 3349 is. I bet you know what House Bill 5 is. It's the schoolhouse, right? So we need to get better at knowing what that is, because that's the support that you're going to get. So you're not spinning your wheels all the time trying to swallow the elephant, to your point, right? Senate Bill 22 is P-TECH, okay? Senate Bill 3349 is a bill that was passed to allow industry experienced people to be teachers at a high school. Because when you have P-TECH programs, we want them to be high-tech. I tell you what, Dr. Chavez, tell me, how many high-tech teachers do you have that can teach robotics right now? Be honest.
Probably one or two.
Right. Across the state of Texas, it's a huge gap, right? So where are those people that know that equipment? Their industry, right? So if we understand the baby boomer pool, for example, why can't we, once they retire, why can't we put them to teach the workforce of tomorrow? So we're talking about, let's localize it now to what we're talking about. We're talking about pre-apprenticeship and apprenticeship programs. I think that if we visualize the entire continuum of our community and all the stakeholders and what they're doing, what are their lanes, and then work together to realize true programs, whether they're pre-apprentice or apprentice, and then we can learn from that. And we're not talking about just staying to that. I mean, there's going to be other programs we're going to put together that are not just an apprenticeship model. But in this particular case, we're talking about pre-apprentice and apprenticeship models, right? But it doesn't start in the adult layer. It starts way before that, right? We do have to have a short-term strategy. A short-term strategy is, how can we get that person to work now, right? A midterm strategy, how can that person going to be working for us in the next 4 or 5 years? And the long-term strategy, the messaging. We talked about the signing and things. Those isn't just messaging, right? Start getting kids used to STEM, whatever that is. And then by the time they get to middle school, high school, it's not foreign to them, right? And then we can keep them in the pipeline. So that's what I propose, is that we have a random monthly, quarterly meeting. All of us together develop this strategy, and then find out, what is my lane? Hey, Mario, what's your lane? Hey, ISDs, this is your lane. Hey, associations, this is your lane. And so forth. And what are we doing? And create activities behind that, all for the one common goal, right? Are we in for that?
I'm in for that.
Yep.
Yes.
All right. So, Pat, we'll work together on this one?
Sure.
We'll get it done, and hopefully we do agree to meet again, and hopefully the pool even gets bigger. And another thing I'd like for you guys to consider is leadership. You know, it really pains me when I come to the Valley and I see the appointed and elected officials are the leadership. It's not the way it's supposed to be. They're there to serve you. They're serving you. You guys should be the leadership, okay? If we look at the composition of particular boards and committees, and you're not on that, that's a problem. That's going to be part of our strategy. How do we get you or your people in that leadership role, because you guys need to be making the decision, not the elected officials. We need to tell them what we need, and they need to do it for us, okay? So we're gonna start creating this culture change, and it starts with industry, okay? With industry and those people that are gonna create our education and workforce pipeline, because that will create economic prosperity, not the other way around, okay? So, you have my commitment. I'll start putting that document together. I think it's gonna be a pretty big one, but I think it's gonna be a working document. And once we create it, believe me, people are gonna want it, and we will share it. And we'll share it with the rest of the valley, because it's a regional effort, and it starts here.